Lord of Omens, give me sight beyond sight. Beyond sight. Beyond sight.
What's up, what's up, what's up? It's another episode of Sight Beyond Sight, but today we're going to do something a little different. Even though we did a couple movie reviews already, we're going to start a horror movie podcast segment, right?
Yes.
And most of the time I'm going to be here with my sister, and maybe some of the time with him because he doesn't like movies.
Not that I don't like. I don't like random C-list movies.
Okay. So
Come on.
me and Nikki are always in search of good horror movies. We're very picky. We're a little jaded. We've watched pretty much everything, and we just want to. Basically, we decided we're going to just pick random horror movies that we find, watch them, and rate them, and give our opinion on them until we find something that we really enjoy.
Yeah, because one of my things is I like to find like the hidden gems, because that's what I know I'm going to be dating myself, but working at Blockbuster was the best thing. Because when you take home those free movies and you're just like, oh shit, no one even's talking about this, and it's a really good movie.
Yeah, if only you had a podcast back then.
Yeah, right? I probably would have been rich by now because I would have been one of the only ones.
Blockbuster's gonna get a shout out soon because they got a documentary dropping in like 2 weeks.
Oh, nice.
Definitely watching that.
With the one last one
Yeah, I'm
in Texas
definitely
or some
watching
shit like that.
Nice.
Is that where they filmed the Captain Marvel, or they just made a random one?
I think so.
for that
I don't
one?
know, but that's why I want to watch the documentary. Because I'm like, how was there already one? Like I
The
stole
whole
from the
thing on-
Blockbuster. That was the last one I thought existed.
I remember when
Like-
you finally left Blockbuster.
Oh,
You
yeah.
came to my house with boxes upon boxes
yeah.
of DVDs.
Listen, they're not getting their money back for them. And half of the time they threw out a lot of stuff. So I
Yeah.
would just be like, whoo.
Got a
But that's a
lot of my
fact.
movie collection comes from there, even though I don't watch DVDs anymore.
Like this movie definitely looks like the Blockbuster movie that you like take the case and it has like the devil head.
Yeah.
And then you just watch the whole movie and you don't
Yes.
see one devil.
Yeah.
Hey, where the fuck the creature at?
Exactly. So this movie that we're going to talk about today is called The Dark and the Wicked.
Yeah.
And from the description that I saw, it sounded interesting.
The trailer was creepy too.
And the trailer was creepy too. And I'll read you what, if I could pull it up, I'll read you what I read.
Okay, yeah, because this
Yeah, 'cause
description
the
looks
breakdown
different.
Yeah, the description that we
is-
saw when we pulled it up. Okay, so what I found when I found this movie, it says, plagued by waking nightmares, two siblings suspect that something evil is taking over their family at an isolated farmhouse. Now, the reason why I found this was interesting is I think we've both experienced some sort of waking dream at some point in our life.
Yeah.
And it's fucking creepy.
Yeah.
So I figured, okay, this could be good. Now, nothing in this movie had anything of a waking nightmare. There maybe was one scene that maybe she was a little frozen, but
Yeah, it wasn't.
almost looked like she was constipated or scared. I don't know what the hell was going on, but it was terrible. So let's just
Want
start
to
off.
summarize the movie or just go scene by scene?
Well,
Do you
first,
remember the freaking scenes that happened in this movie?
It felt like we watched like a 4-hour movie,
Yeah,
and we're
it
just
did.
like,
It's because it was like Monday.
so
Tuesday.
yes, so the beginning of the movie was, and they were trying to build tension. I understand that, but it was very slow. They were trying to build up to what was going on in this secluded farmhouse.
I think the first, scene basically where they messed up is the ladies doing the dishes or cutting, vegetables.
Celery. She was
And
cutting
then-
celery. Yeah.
It was like a back shot of her, like her back and cutting the carrots, and there was like a front shot, and then all she hears is something move, and then a back shot, and then it was a chair, but there was no indication that the chair wasn't there before because they didn't show the chair in the first back shot.
Yeah.
So you're like, what moved? Like, was the chair there or not? Like, what the fuck's going on? And then, of course, again, you were just talking about it. That
Yes.
was like the beginning of the building of this weird tension that never really happened.
Yes. And then there's the type of farm that they're on is a sheep farm.
Yeah, you can say
Or
sheep
goat
farm.
farm,
I'll say more
whatever.
sheep.
Sheep, goat.
Yeah, sheep, goat shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And every time there's sheep and goats, there's the devil. So
Yeah.
Yes.
So she goes for some reason into where they keep the goats at night, and they have this string with bottles and all these things to make noise. And my question is, why the fuck is the barn open? It's closed this barn door. What's the point of having the string with all these things in
I
to
don't-
make noise?
for like wolves and
I
stuff
don't
like
really
that.
know animals like that, so I can't even answer. Like I was just thinking, like,
But I'm like, just close the fucking barn door. Like I
Yeah.
don't understand. You put the goats back in the barn. You close the barn door. Like I don't understand
That's
what's
what
wrong
you
with
do.
that.
With, that's what you do with horses, right? You put
Yeah.
them in a stable and then you
But I
close
guess
the fucking
to
barn.
again to
Horses don't lay down to sleep though.
No,
they
they
just
don't.
Yeah,
stand
but
there.
they stand. But you put them in a stable
In a
in the
stable,
barn,
yeah.
and then you close the barn. Like
Yeah.
you don't leave the fucking barn open for wolves to come in and.
eat
Like
your
if you,
sheep.
so somebody goes in there and tips
Eat
over
your
your
flock.
horse, you know. Like,
But again, I think it was we need something a little bit to indicate when the bad guys are around. So
Yeah.
these things have to make noise. You could easily have done the same thing with the sheep going crazy.
Yeah,
Because
which-
animals have an innate ability to sense danger, sense evil, blah, 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 in the whole mythos of horror movies. So easily they could have had her go check on the sheep.
yeah,
I mean, the door could have been ajar, so it looks a little creepy, whatever. And then the sheep are all freaking out, running in circles. You could easily have done something weird with that. But no, she stands in the middle of the sheep. She's looking around. She turns her back. You see a little ball head come up from the sheep. And then that's it. And then she goes into her house. She, like, walks silently through the house.
her creaky ass house.
And yeah, there's no sound, which in certain movies I get if there's no sound because you want to pick up every little thing. But there's no background sound, but you hear every creaking of this old farmhouse. You hear every
Yeah.
wind blow. You hear every so when it's almost like if you have no sound in the background, but you're augmenting all the minor sounds in the house,
Yeah.
it takes away from the eeriness of it.
Yeah.
Now it just becomes, wow, that's a really loud footstep.
And-
oh wow, you're chopping those vegetables really fucking loud.
Yeah. But I see if they were to utilize that in a sense that when everything bad is happening, instead of a loud sound, it was silence.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't even do that. Like the only silence was the door's open. And there's like some scenes you're just like, did you leave it open? Because
I don't remember
I
you
don't, I
shutting
didn't
the
see
door.
you shut the fucking door.
you don't have to see somebody shut a door. You live in a farm. Like, I don't care who you are. If you have your door open on farmland, you deserve whatever happens to you.
But I believe
honestly.
But I believe the same way as you said that you rather keep your door open in the city than in a barn. I would be like, you're retarded.
You understand, like in the city, you understand there's gonna be multiple people probably around. That shit's happening.
Multiple
In a
people
farm
coming into your fucking house.
I know. That's what I'm saying. But like on a farm, like it's just eerie quietness. Like there's nothing going on. Like
But there's
think
less
about like
people.
somebody randomly, like from like the Get Out movie when that black guy's running.
Yeah.
Just see somebody just running like that, and you just on some farmland, like this nigga's running like 15 acres down just to my crib. Like that is scary.
I
Like,
know, but at least you have 15 acres to close and lock the door. When you're in the city, you're like, oh shit, they're here already.
Listen, you take those risks. Like, you know how many
No,
bodegas
that
I
was-
walk by with doors
But
open?
that just reminded me of another thing that bothered me with this movie. There's not one weapon in this whole fucking movie.
Well, the guy with the knife and then the one guy with the shotgun.
But-
But
Essentially,
Useless.
useless. They're and everything was nobody had there was no fight or flight. It was neither.
Everybody
It was
yeah.
neither. It was literally curl up in a ball until things go away.
and then not acknowledge it the next day.
And
Or
not acknowledge it the next day. Let's not
I-
talk about it. It didn't happen. I didn't just see my mother floating in the field.
I was just about to say that, like, the whole movie, for everyone listening, is basically, I think it's a take on atheism, because it's like all this country family that doesn't believe in God. So then, of course, the devil comes and
wants to take their souls.
or for some reason kill the family. But this is the weird thing I don't understand about, like,
Okay, well, one thing we forgot to mention is the old woman that's wandering around this farm is not alone. She has a sickly husband that's
dying. Yeah.
that's dying in their bed. He's lying still. he doesn't really move, and he has like the oxygen thing in his nose, and he just breathes very heavily.
Okay.
And like she's taking care of him by herself. She has a nurse that comes in during the day, but at night it's just her and her husband.
Yeah,
and
the sickly husband.
And this is the other thing I don't get either. Like, your husband's sick and like dying, but you're sleeping right next to him. Like, give him his fucking bed so he could be comfortable. Like, you really don't need to be sharing a small ass.
Yeah.
Didn't even look like a queen size bed. It looked like a full size bed.
But he didn't look like he was really trying to move a lot, like he
Yeah,
was
but
just,
still.
Hold on a second. I think this mic just went out. But go ahead.
Did the mic go out? All right. But I mean, all right. So basically,
Okay. Is that
yeah, he
fine?
was there sleeping. Like when you go on the atheist aspect, they have what I guess you call him the reverend, the preacher, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
He went there and they had that conversation. He told him straight up, he was just like, yo, just because you don't believe don't mean it's not real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was basically what made the rest of the movie, like, for me after that part was like, I don't even care anymore because these people are just being assholes.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were really
Like,
rude to him.
yeah, like,
Well,
they
he was
rooted
the
him
devil.
and then they're just there like, my mom's floating outside and the light keeps turning on and off. And it's like,
gonna break-
God forbid, like it took you until the end of the movie to decide to go home.
But that was the other thing.
Like-
so one of the characters is sleeping in his bed at night, and all of a sudden his light goes on in his bedroom. Now, I don't know about the rest of you, but if the light goes on, I'm not as scared because I could see what's
Yeah.
in the room.
Nah, that shit scared me. I ain't gonna front.
Hold on 1 second.
I
I'm
have
gonna
one
get you
of-
another mic. I'm gonna pause this video real quick and we'll come right back. Technical difficulties. We're back. Okay, so we were talking about the funny scene where apparently this guy and again, if
He's
they did
sleeping.
this, there's certain things about this movie that it could have been done. Like I felt like they had like 2 or 3 smart ideas that they could have done, like a reverse on how movies do it, like we said with the silence and making like everything is so loud and then when something bad happens it's silent. I think that would have been a good take. And even with this where you were just saying he was in bed and the lights turn on instead of off, they could have used that like, oh, it turns on and okay, nothing's there. He turns it off, goes back to his bed and then turns on again and something's there. You know what I'm saying? And
But
then
they
it turns
didn't
off.
even do that because even the second time they turn on the light,
Yeah.
he wakes up, he shuts the light off again, and
Yeah.
then he looks around the room in the dark.
Yeah.
He has good vision. Like you eat. Listen, I read if you eat carrots, your night vision is strong as fuck. Now, I don't eat carrots
Maybe the light
personally.
was like hurting his eyes too
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
Maybe.
That happens, y'all. I wear glasses. I'm half blind. Sometimes at night I feel more comfortable when I'm just with no glass. Like, oh, I can see shit. Or maybe that's just me being home and I know how to move around. Who knows?
But then he looks outside and he sees his mom floating in the grass. And what does he do? He doesn't go and get his sister. He doesn't go, what the hell, and go run outside, even though that would have been a bad idea. But, you
Yeah.
know, horror movies.
His naked dead mom, by the way. We didn't even get to
No,
that.
Nah,
he
she wasn't
wasn't
naked
naked
at
at
that
that point.
I thought she was naked.
No,
Nah,
only
not
in
then.
the other
Yeah.
scene. But then he goes to bed. Like nothing happened. And nothing does happen.
Yeah.
And then they wake up the next day, and it takes him all damn day before he tells his sister what he saw.
He saw the
And
dead
it
mom
was
outside.
right before they go back to sleep. Like, what?
I mean, could
I
have
mean,
thought
if-
it was a dream.
He could have thought it was a dream, but he admittedly says it was not a dream.
He did say that.
Yeah.
He did say, and
I mean,
he
the
said
dialogue
and
in
he
this movie
said,
isn't great.
No, and he did say he was not hallucinating.
Yeah, but he was still again on his disbelief with atheism. Like it's not real though. Like
That's
Okay.
that redneck, like middle of the country type shit.
yeah, but that's reverse redneck shit because they're supposed to be super religious. That's a Bible Belt shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they are very religious in the middle
Like
of the
I
country.
feel like
Yeah.
again, this movie had potential. It will not
No potential. How did you see potential?
potential in what they could have done.
In certain scenes.
Yeah, like
In
certain things.
scenes.
Like again, they did another reverse thing. They're in South Bible Belt area, and they're atheists instead of super, religious.
It's
So
set in Texas, I
I
believe.
felt like they had like hints of good ideas,
Yeah.
and then they put shit all over it. They're just
Yeah.
like, oh, look at this is a good. All right, just smear it with something. Let's put something bad there. Let's not follow through with anything we tried to do.
Oh my god. And then like there were other scenes that like, okay, this could be creepy, and then again they dismiss it. Like there's a scene where the girl's in the shower because of course you need a naked chick scene and you can't do a brother sister thing because that would be gross and they're not in Alabama. But
But they
They
didn't.
just shot at Alabama
didn't-
man hard.
But they didn't show anything. Which,
no, but they. So she's in the shower and she hears the door creaking and a footstep. Now most normal people would be like, "Yo, I'm in the shower." Like,
you could curse.
Yeah, we can go to amount of minutes in that is cursing free. You free
so
right now.
so instead of doing that, she opens the curtain wide, like
Yeah, like,
complete. Not even like
Yeah.
that peek your head out, like,
Yeah,
dude,
like-
I'm in the bathroom. Like, what are you doing?
And she only, because basically at this point of the movie, the mother killed herself because we didn't explain nothing. I think that's why we should have done. Maybe we should just do a quick summary. But the mother ends up killing herself, so it's only the brother, the sister, and then the
sick
dying-
father.
and the sick father that's bedridden. So when she's taking a shower, you would think, like you said, you would have done that where you would have popped your head out like, yo, what the fuck, I'm in here. But she really did like, hey, my brother's should be the only one walking around here. Shh. What are you doing in a bathroom? I'm naked in a shower. Obviously.
Meanwhile, when she opened it, it's her dad standing there.
Yeah.
And she, again, fight or flight doesn't exist. So she throws herself down to the corner of the shower.
Fetal position.
Fetal position style, and looks up and not like, oh my God. And for some reason, they show the dad peeing on himself, which I don't know why that was relevant. But then they look up at his face and
And
his
he's-
eyes are completely white and he's doing that weird twitchy head
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah,
and then
wouldn't-
she just screams and puts her head back in the corner. And her brother runs in.
And then stares, doesn't even say, are you all right? He just walks in, looks at her, and is like,
Stupid bitch.
And then walks back out again.
okay.
Like,
and I
what
was
the fuck?
Like, one, why is she crying with the thing open naked? You ran into the shower to see your sister, like, what's going on?
Yes.
And you don't even say, like, yo,
What's
are you
wrong?
all right? Like, did you fall or some shit? Like, and try to, like, block your, like, you all right? It
Do you need a towel? At least drape a towel over her, or go. You're getting water all over the damn floor. What the fuck's wrong with you?
Jesus. Yeah.
Okay, so quick synapse, and maybe you could edit the video to like put this in the beginning.
That's a lot of work.
It won't be that much work. I mean, it's probably like only 10 minutes in.
Okay,
You'll be able
so
to do it. But as we
basic-
talk about it, you won't be able to.
Well,
so what happens is the reason why the brother and sister go back. They go back to the house. They don't actually give an excuse why they
No.
go back to the house. Randomly, they come back to the house, the two of them. The mother basically tells them, you shouldn't have come here. And they think it's just that she's mad at them for leaving her with the father by herself to take care of. So that's what they assume. But every chance she gets, she tells them to get the fuck out of their house. And they just keep saying no. So one night, as she's chopping vegetables like she likes to do apparently in the middle of the night, because everybody's in bed and she's chopping vegetables very, very loudly in this small ass farmhouse.
It's a wooden chopping board, though.
And a wooden chopping board. And she's cutting up carrots. And you know this is going to happen because it's all of a sudden in this quiet movie, ominous music starts to play. And you're like, she's chopping off her fingers. She's
Yeah.
going to chop off her fingers.
yeah. And then what happens?
She chops off her fingers. But not just chops off her fingers. She chops off her fingers and she screams. And then she continues to
To
chop
chop 'em.
the fingers that are chopped off into itty bitty pieces.
Yeah.
And nobody apparently hears her.
Well, she didn't really make a scream. She goes like, ah.
She was like, ah. Yeah.
But no one questions
But I
why.
don't think
and
anybody
then-
was in the house besides the husband.
No,
I
that
don't think the
after
daughter
her
was staying
home.
there.
They were there.
Oh, they were staying
Remember,
there?
the son runs out like, "Mom!" And that's when they find her dead.
That was later
That was the
on.
next day.
That was the next day. That was Tuesday.
Yeah, she chops off her fingers. Then the next day, they wake up and there's blood everywhere. So
You
they
sure
follow
that they woke up? You sure they didn't get there and see
No,
it?
they
But
were
they
there
technically didn't show us this, so I could debate this.
Well, that just goes to show you how much no attention they got to
Okay,
detail.
so she chops her fingers, and then from chopping her fingers, she goes out to the barn to where the sheep are. And that's all you see is her walking out to the barn. Then the next morning, the son wakes up screaming and you see blood everywhere. And they are running. And this is what kills me too. They run out of the house and they just start screaming for their mom.
Open field.
In an open field and not running towards any of the structures that are on this
Yeah.
15-acre property. And they're running around in circles in an open field. It's retarded. And then finally, the daughter goes towards the barn and sees her mom hanging. She runs away from the barn and then runs back to the barn to try to lift her up. And the brother comes and whatever. One thing I did notice, which they did reference in the movie, which I was glad that it wasn't ignored, was there was nothing by the mom as far as a chair or anything that she would have lifted herself to hang herself with.
Yeah.
The daughter had to pull over like a barrel to
Like a
stand
crate.
on
Yeah.
and to cut the rope. And I was like, what? Nobody's gonna wonder how the hell she got up there? And when the cops came, you don't see the cops come. They just mention that the cops came. And they said something about the barrel, and the son was like, but the barrel wasn't there. How did she get up there? And the daughter looks at him like, what are you talking about? Are you sure I moved it? He's like, and then they just look at each other and no other questions. If it would have been me and my mom's hanging and there's no fucking chair and I'm going, what the?
Yeah.
Like-
it's a this movie has like
I think it's denial. I think the movie should have been called Denial.
Yeah. that would have been perfect for the movie. Like denial. Like no, nothing's real. There is no God. Like all of that shit. Like that would have made a perfect sense movie. And if they would have put it, the fucking description a little better,
Yes.
then it would have made more sense.
So then this is where like weird stuff starts to happen. The shower thing happens. The lights in the middle of the night come on happen.
Mom outside floating. Dead mom outside floating.
Dead mom outside floating. The nurse that takes care of the dad during the day says some weird shit about like if there's love in the house when somebody's dying, then essentially their soul won't go to hell or something, which doesn't make any kind of sense.
I feel like I missed so much of this fucking movie. I'm like, what the hell? Like, having this dialogue I missed. Like, fucking Twitter.
And me and you were talking the most.
Yeah.
You just spaced out. It was just like, oh, this movie
And then
sucks.
some random priest came and visited them, and they cursed out the priest essentially and told him he was full of shit, that their mom didn't believe. Meanwhile, her pocket was full of crosses, of silver crosses.
Yeah. And then it was right after that. Then didn't they see him at midnight? That was the same day.
That was like the next night. They hear something outside, and they hear like a scraping, and the wolves are howling, and all this stuff, and then the sister looks out the window and sees the priest standing there at 3 in the fucking morning.
3 in the morning, saying, "Come outside."
Oh yeah.
And he tells them to come outside, and of course, instead of actually, sending him to hell and close the door, like this crazy priest, like. Why the hell is he?
Let me call the cops because
Yeah.
this crazy priest that we just cursed out earlier today is back here at 3:00 in the morning saying, "Come outside" with a weird voice.
Yeah.
And then they open the door, and then they both do that. What are you doing here? What are you?
But his
And then-
voice didn't get weird though until like after he
They
started
opened the
bugging.
door,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they shone a flashlight on him, and his eyes were white. Ooh, creepy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the non-pupil, all white eyes. I guess
Yeah.
you could say like the dead eyes.
Yeah, and on a farm they don't have a shotgun because if that would have happened,
Why would you?
yeah,
'Cause I would've
a farm
shot
in
him.
Texas should have 5 shotguns.
Everybody on that farm would have got shot.
Yeah.
Honestly.
The little girl.
Everybody.
I'll put a note on it. If you make any noise around this time to this time, I'm going to shoot
You
through the
get
door.
shot first. Yeah. I figure this shit out later. Like,
But no, okay. So then So that was supposed to be a creepy spot. The brother runs out to say like, "I'm gonna fight you," and
But he's gone, mysteriously
yeah,
gone
'cause
out of nowhere.
Oh, because they're talking to the priest and he keeps saying, "Come outside," and then the phone rings. So they both turn their head towards the phone, which is inside the house, and then they turn back outside the house, and then he's gone. And the brother goes out there looking. The phone keeps ringing, so they're deciding on what to answer it or not. It's just
Exhausting. It's
Yeah.
exhausting. And then the daughter decides instead of answering the phone to unplug the phone. But the twist is she should have answered the phone because it was their family friend who was trying to warn them. And he was in his what looked like trailer.
Yeah.
And he had a shotgun though because he was smart. But he goes out into his living room or living area of the trailer
Yeah.
and sees what looks like the sister's character stabbing the shit out of herself all over, and that
In
I
a
had
creepy
to say,
way.
in a creepy way, and she has big bug eyes and is way too skinny, so it makes it look a little creepy.
But what they never explained, why? Like, why is the devil coming for him? Like, what's the point of
This
him?
is part of the crew. Like they're all
But he
connected.
didn't even really go to
He
the
was
house.
like a neighbor.
Yeah,
Like
But he
drove-
interacted with the people
Oh.
and all of that. You can't interact with these people. Like, do you not see what happened with the nurse? Like,
that's true. But
Yeah.
the nurse
But
was
the
in the
nurse-
house.
yeah.
But anyway, so I get what you're saying though, because they needed to send more fear into them. So instead of shooting what looked like the girl that he knew, he decided to shoot himself in the head, which was, I have to say, was like, okay, I get it. Like this thing likes to make people commit suicide. It likes to take people's souls in that way, not
Okay.
just kill them blatantly, but
Yeah,
to
suicide. Yeah.
to make it look like suicide. So okay, all right, now I kind of get it. So then, so the brother decides after the priest thing happens, the next night he's out in. The next day all the sheep run out into the fields.
Yeah.
And they get massacred by something, and one goat or sheep or whatever comes running back. It's missing a leg. It's got blood on it, which was kind of creepy. I kind of like admired the CGI that they used. It was the only good CGI in
Yeah.
the whole damn movie because everything else was terrible. But then like the son had to kill the
son-
sheep that came back, and then they found all the massacred other sheep and realized like this is not like an animal that did this. This is not how it usually happens if like a wolf attacks
it's like
or
some
something.
plague type shit,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
So they burned the bodies.
So they burned all the bodies, and then when they go back, he goes back into the barn to go check on. There was the only remaining sheep that was left was a mama sheep that had babies, and they had them like cooped up.
Yeah.
So he goes to check on them, and of course it's nighttime by the time this happens because that's when you want to do these things. And as he's leaving, his naked mom comes to visit him again. Mm-hmm. In the barn, and all she does is press her naked body.
You know what's so
Up
funny?
against
I just gotta say, it took to his mom to be butt ass naked to come after him for him to decide to leave.
Yeah.
Well, and that was the funniest part of the whole movie
Yeah.
because, like you were saying, the mom goes in there naked, ghost mom, and really just like ooga booga him. Like she doesn't do anything.
And
towards
again,
him.
there's no fight or flight. He just closes his
Yeah,
eyes
like
and
he takes out his knife like he's gonna do something. He backs up and like squinches his face. Is gone. The ghost is gone. Then basically behind him somehow, and he falls on the ground again. She didn't push him. He just fell because he was a coward. And then he has a knife up to his throat, and then he drops it. And then he goes back inside. His sister is apparently sleeping. This is another weird thing that we didn't mention in the movie. After the mother died, because the mother was sleeping with the sickly father in the same bed.
yeah.
And then after the mother died, the daughter sleeps with the father in the sickly father in the same bed, which is
Weird.
Like you said,
Why would
like,
you do that?
Why, like, leave him be?
Yeah.
And
Obviously, there was another bed in the house that you were sleeping in prior to. So why the hell are you sleeping in his
And-
bed?
talking about later scenes, it's not like you're gonna do something and something happened. Apparently,
So yeah, so she's awake and she sees her brother come back into the house and he just goes into his room. And again, he opens his knife for who knows why.
yeah.
And he decides he's going to leave in the middle of the night to go back home to his family.
Without
'Cause-
telling his fucking sister that is going through the same shit he's going through.
Right.
Not going and running into the house that
and saying,
naked mom.
we need to get the fuck
Yeah.
out of here because naked mom just accosted me in the barn.
Like, we get like, fuck this guy, he's dying, let's go. But no, it was, I'm gonna go to my room quietly, look at my knife, and decide to leave in the morning and have my sister there deal with everything by herself.
Yes.
But during this time, the sister has a fucking nightmare, I guess you could call it, where someone's creeping in the room. She doesn't, like, she's opening her eyes, like, trying, like, to waking up out of a sleep. And something comes on the bed. And instead of, like, what the fuck, my dad's moving, it's, oh, God, I can't look. Like, it's on top of your father, like, is killing him. Are you going to do something? Like, you're here to save your father.
And then she finally rolls over and sees that her father is on the ceiling reaching out to her. So instead of like reaching out to him and trying to get him off the ceiling, even if it's not rational, but you know, trying to help your father, what do?
Cower.
You cower, and
shut your
then
eyes.
all of a sudden she wakes up and it was all a dream.
Yeah.
And her dad is still there.
But her
But then-
brother is not.
So she's
Brother is
she's looking
gone.
around the house. She's trying to call her brother. Her brother finally says, "I left. You should leave." And basically telling her like all that matters is my wife and my kids and fuck y'all. Like
Yeah.
go to hell. And he goes back to his house. And this was probably one of my favorite parts of the movie. He goes back to his house and he's looking for his family and he can't find his family and he goes into his kitchen and what he sees is both of his daughters are bleeding and their heads are down and one of the girls had her eyes wide open, which to me was pretty creepy.
I guess in a way.
Well,
I mean,
kids
nobody who close their eyes when they kill themselves. Like, you know.
And then the wife was on the floor and everybody's dead. So instead of
Calling the cops.
calling the cops, reaching over to your dead children or wife to touch them to see if any of them have a pulse or anything, he decides, I'm gonna end it. And he takes
That's
out
why I
his
called him a
little ass
quitter.
pocket knife.
He's a quitter.
He is a quitter.
Mm-hmm.
And he just cuts his throat. And as he cuts his throat, he looks back. And what happens? They're not there.
Yeah.
It was all in his imagination.
Yeah.
And then as he's dying there on the floor, his wife and children come back from getting donuts, apparently.
Yeah, Dunkin'
I
Donuts.
see him dead on the floor for
As
cutting
while
his
he's
throat.
dead on the floor. So now you just traumatize your
You
wife
missed
and
that
children.
chocolate glaze, you asshole.
Got you a chocolate eclair, your favorite.
So
If you would have waited 2 more seconds, glass. And then it goes back to the sister at the house, and she answers the door. Somebody knocks violently on the door, right?
Yeah, I know.
And we're like, what the hell? So this girl shows up and says, I am so-and-so, the granddaughter of the old man, right? Whatever. So, and she's just not even paying attention. She's looking all around. She looks like a fucking crackhead, to be honest. Because she's just like kind of darting all around. And the girl's explaining that the guy committed suicide. And she's like, no, that can't be, blah, blah, blah. And of course, at this time, her dad starts coughing and making all kinds of noise. So she has to go into the house and she tells the girl to come in because she just needs to check on her dad. And the girl says, which doesn't make any sense because they never reference this at all. Can you smell it? He's here. And it was like, what smell? Nobody
Yeah.
talked about a smell. Nobody
throughout the
said it
whole movie.
stinks in here.
I watched
Nobody was
wrestling
like,
for years. I don't know what the fuck The Rock was smelling. So I can't even tell you.
Yeah, it was a very weird. That could, like, you're right. Like, there was nothing in there. Like, there was not a scene where it was just like, you smell that? Like, it smells weird or it smells like something's dying or dead. It was just a weird thing to say, like, can you smell him? Or can you smell it? They're here. Or can you smell him?
Whatever
He's
it
here.
was, yeah.
And then it was like, it was another trick by the devil. It's like someone possessed or
And
something like that.
again, this thing kept popping up in front of the girl's face. She didn't try to attack it ever. She either fell on her ass or went into the fetal position.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what the?
She was very weak. I mean, but you gotta look at it. Like, she had no.
But none of them were ever
you see her
physically
cheekbones.
attacked.
Like in
Yeah.
any way, she was not defending herself. She had no muscle tone, no nothing to
She
her.
could have jabbed an elbow at least.
Probably sharp enough with her fucking skinny body. Oh no! Oh,
Sorry.
there was nothing in there, so it's
No,
safe.
it was empty.
Good shit. But yeah, like like those were the little things. Like for that movie, like it's just very fucking, just a lot of stupidity
Yeah.
throughout of it.
Yeah.
Like
And
my-
it was like slow build,
Yes.
slow build, slow build,
Slow.
and stupid shit.
Yeah. And
Yes. I just like the day countdown, like the Tuesday. It gave you at least an idea of what was happening.
The brother
next
did
day.
mention, because she said to him, how long are you going to be here? Oh, about a week.
And it gave us a week.
And it gave us a
It
week.
gave us a
it
week.
gave us
gave
a
us a-
week of absolutely nothing besides like 3 things. Like, I don't know if anybody's noticed. Throughout all the scenes, we named, I think, 3 scenes that were quote unquote creepy. We had the naked mother or the floating mother, like
The
They
dad
did
in the
have
shower.
the dad in the shower, and then the lady cutting herself. And then we're gonna come up to the last scene, which I don't think is creepy. It was more like,
The
nurse.
jump? Oh, the nurse scene.
yeah.
Well, that's not really the last scene. The nurse scene will be second to last.
Yeah, second to last. Yeah, you're right. So,
Well,
okay,
it's
so
coming up to the
The end of
third
the
act.
movie, yeah.
It's
So-
basically at the third act right now.
the day nurse comes, and this is what I find is weird. So everybody is preaching about this whole, religion thing in the movie, and the kids are all atheists, and the parents were all atheists. So there's like this weird who's right, who's wrong kind of thing. So the visiting nurse comes in. She lights a candle of
like a
Mary.
Mary
Was that
candle, yeah.
Mary?
Yeah, it was Mary.
Yeah, so she
Keep it on the
lights a Mary
religious.
candle, and as soon as she lights it, you would think things would like get better.
Yeah.
Nah, they get worse. So she lights this Mary candle. She prays over the old man's body, and then she is sitting there with her knitting needles, listening to the sister talk to the brother, freaking out.
Yeah.
And she's smiling and smirking. And that's when you realize, okay, something's wrong. So then she proceeds to take her knitting needles and stabbed herself in the cheek.
Yeah, cheek first. And
Yeah.
then
First she's standing there with the 2 needles in her hand, and a spider comes out of somewhere.
oh yeah.
Can't even tell because the CGI is so terrible. Couldn't tell if it was a spider or moth or some
It
shit.
looked like it came from like the inner eye part.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. And then it just like danced across her face.
Yeah.
And then she stabbed herself in the cheek. And then she starts screaming, and the
then
girl
she's-
comes in, and then she stabs the shit out of her stomach. And
then she bum rushed and like lined
and she
back at the
said,
girl.
"Can't you hear? Why don't you listen? They said to leave."
yeah.
She
And
said
then
this
Yoke
like 4 times before she did that. Like that's a lot of strength and ambition.
Yeah, exactly. She was dedicated. And then she
Yeah.
proceeded to like smash the shit out of the girl's head against the door. And then
She
the
went
sister gets
unconscious.
knocked out. And then the nurse stabs herself, not once, but twice
in the eyes.
in the eyes.
But when she stabs herself in the eye, she doesn't bleed at first until she turns around because, they had the cut scene and,
Yeah.
you need to squirt some shit in your eye. And on top of that, she opens her eyes and her eyes are still there.
Yeah.
She went at a certain angle, maybe. Try
She
to
only
help
stabbed
them.
her tear ducts.
Yeah,
And then she does this weird thing and then she just falls. And then
Yeah.
you never see her body, not even her body again.
Yes.
And then we lead up to the last scene where the main...
Sunday just about us.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. It turns to Sunday, apparently.
So the main lady, the skinny woman that got knocked out, wakes up and she's crawling out of the front door. Like, well, she
Well,
wakes up,
no. She walks out of the front door. And apparently, she was still concussed, so she
Yeah.
fell down the stairs.
Yeah. But then she had enough strength after falling on the ground on the front door because she hears her dad wheezing.
And coughing.
Instead of running away because all this horrific shit is happening, let's go back in and help the only person that should have been dead from the first scene. And let's watch him die finally. And then she hears her mother, right? And then she looks back at the father, and
No,
then
she
she
has
looks
to look
away.
back. Oh, yeah.
And then she looks away again, and then the father goes, "Ha!" and then cutscene.
And
Like that was really
the end. Like,
It
should have
was-
said Finn.
yeah.
It would have been fucking perfect.
Like it was just a horrible movie. It was just like when I say it had potential, I didn't mean it had potential. I'm saying there are certain qualities that
There
they
were
could
certain
have
ideas.
utilized
There were certain
that
ideas.
were fucking. That what I would have thought like do reverse of what every horror movie does, but yeah, you're just a bad horror movie. The
Yeah, so-
acting was horrible.
So all this to say, don't watch this fucking movie.
Yeah, not worth it.
Yeah. Like, what would, like, think about it as, like, what would you say to the director if you actually had the chance to talk to him? Like, nigga, like, what were you thinking? Like, did you get paid good enough to be like, yo, let's just half-ass this as much as possible?
Yeah.
Like
Like, first of all, you had, I think, enough budget to get a better CGI team.
I mean,
Number
he
one.
has the DC CGI. I mean, I just still try to
we're talking about that movie in a couple weeks.
2 more weeks, baby.
But no, it's a fact. Like, I would love to talk to these directors and be like, what the fuck was your goal? And if you didn't have a budget for CGI, you didn't need the spiders.
No.
Why?
That was unnecessary.
That your makeup wasn't horrible. It's not like you had anything
no, the
special.
old lady looked
Yeah.
The
like
old lady was fine. The part where the girl was cutting herself
was fine.
was fine. Yeah.
Like when the girl stabbing her eyes out, just have her eyes shut with the blood running down. Like
Yeah.
you don't need CGI
Yeah.
for a low budget movie like this. Just do a horrific, and again, if you're gonna do it like those things in reverse, like with the sound and the
light.
the religion aspect and all that, if you're doing everything in reverse of what the movie should have been, then do it right. You had
Yeah.
so much potential to be creepy. It's his worst nightmare being in a fucking 15-acre lot with nothing around.
Listen, I don't want to be in no. Like, I've driven out east. Like, we live on Long Island. If you go out east, that is the creepiest shit possible. There's
Honestly,
less street
I have-
lights and it's nothing
yes.
but fucking farmland.
I have to admit, there have been times when a friend of mine used to live all the way out east, and I used to leave her house at night, and you're the only car on the road, and you just watch an actual horror movie, and you keep looking in your rearview mirror, and all you
nothing-
see is your
nothing.
creepy kid sleeping in the back.
There's literally nothing. Like, you look to the side and it's like, oh, that's a barn, and it's just fucking a whole bunch of land. Like, your car breaks down, you telling me you're not scared, and I don't know what to tell you. I'd rather have my car break down in the fucking city. I could
Yes.
deal with a crackhead.
You're telling me you can't deal with a crazy hillbilly
No,
that just comes out of the woods
fucking-
right where your spot
probably
is?
drinking moonshine and doing meth. Like, I don't know what the fuck is happening. Got time for that shit. Like, it's OD.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I would, but where do these people get the budget and the okay from the fucking studio to be
Yeah.
like, no, this is great. Go
I
ahead.
don't understand. I don't understand.
That's a long conversation.
Yeah. But then
yeah.
I do bring back like because we'll probably talk about it eventually in more of these kind of podcasts. But like the '80s movies is kind of the same thing where it's just like really like Ghoulies.
I gotta bring up Google.
But
Like,
as
after
a
that-
child, Ghoulies was awesome.
Yeah.
It wasn't even scary. It was just like funny and like
What was the other one that was like that? That was kind of cool but stupid.
Critters.
No, that
Critters
was a good
is
one, but-
awesome. Listen, they fucking hairballs at teeth and they eat. How can you not like Critters? I love
And they had
Critters.
I love
the
Critters.
porkies, the spines.
Porcupines,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, the one I was
Killer
talking about
Clowns.
was the
Killer
the,
Clowns is a so angry
the
movie.
kid that had like a portal to hell in his backyard.
That one I don't know.
The gate.
Oh yeah, the gate. Simple term. Yeah,
Listen,
stupid
it's better
shit.
than all of those are better than when you made me watch a Babadook. You made me
Oh,
watch
no.
fucking Human Centipede.
This is what I want to do because I really want to break down the Babadook and Hereditary, and I
Oh,
want to
God,
tell
I
want to
hate
tell everyone
Hereditary.
online, F you for thinking that's a great movie.
Yes.
Explain to me why, because I watched every single like thing on why it's good, just to say maybe I missed something. Nope.
We left
Sucked.
the movie theater angry.
Angry.
I mean, I've watched some shit movies. I mean, on purpose, I've watched some shit
Like this.
movies like this. But this movie had me
Hyped.
leaving the movie so. I've never been so angry over. Okay, no, I have been angry over another movie before, and I actually threw it in the garbage as soon as I watched it.
Ooh.
and it was called JVD. And I love Jean-Claude Van Damme, but that movie was fucking horrendous.
Jean-Claude Van Damme was in the actual movie.
Yeah, it was called
Is that the one with the
JVD.
heist? With the bank heist thing?
I barely remember, but I just remember it was.
That was like his
absolutely
first
terrible.
movie coming back as an old man.
Yes, yes,
And it was
I've
like
never seen
he
it.
was himself,
yes.
but it was just like
But he was a spy pretending to be a
No, I don't
movie.
think-
Yes, he was a spy.
That
Yeah.
sounds horribly great.
Oh my
Like,
god! And I thought it would be
can't
kind of
even
funny,
play
like
himself.
maybe like there would be some self-deprecation kind of like.
well,
funny
I thought that's
things.
what it was because he was like, "Oh,
it
I'm
was-
an out of
He's
I'm an out
fucking-
of touch actor."
It
kind
was-
He's
of thing.
Lionheart and Frank Dukes. That's all that fucking matters to me.
But
Oh,
I've
shit.
always liked. I even liked Time Cop, which
Time
is-
Cop, the first one is good. I like the first one.
I mean, that split in the kitchen was.
And like double impact was my shit. The fact that he had like a twin brother of himself.
Yeah.
oh
was my-
yes,
Like,
yes, yes,
but we
yes.
getting on John Claude. But
Yeah. I can talk about Jean-Claude Van Damme all day. But
So yeah, basically,
but yeah, so
across the board, movie sucked really bad.
okay, but
Rating
out of
for
a
each
scale
person.
of like 1 to 5, we'll say, because
Ooh, that's a 1. If I
Damn,
have to
if you go
one
1 to
or
5, yeah, I
That's a
have to
1.
go to 1. Yeah.
yeah, because it's just it really didn't have any.
it was, and it
redeeming
wasn't
qualities.
even okay to me. Even if it's kind of funny, it would warrant like a 2.
Yeah,
Because
but-
it at least would be somewhat entertaining. But this
Yeah.
movie wasn't even entertaining
It
at all.
didn't have anything to laugh at or anything.
or
like
even
that.
like any real creepy scenes. Like wow, that was kind of like even if it had one scene that was
Yeah.
kind of like wow, that was pretty fucking fun.
Yeah.
Nope, nothing.
Nah,
And even
it's
the
nothing.
chopping of the fingers, like it being so predictable.
Yeah.
Like, okay, fine. We thought she was just going to chop her hand once and that would be it. But then they went on with the chopping of the fingers.
yeah,
And I thought at least that would be like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. But even that fell flat. And I don't know how that would
Yeah.
fall flat. You know
because
what I
we've
mean?
seen it done so many fucking
Pretty
times.
much, yeah, that's a fact.
So it's just kind of like
But I got it's like I said, it would have been my favorite scene would if it would have happened. And if you listen to WandaVision, you're kind of gonna know where I'm going with this. If it had the legend devil just there, I just want to see a big red monster again. I guess like I'm just dying to see Mephisto, some shit. Like come on,
oh, wait till Friday. We'll see what happens then. It's the last episode of
I'm
that.
dying to see this shit. Give me some hoofs.
No, you need that.
Oh my god, I couldn't.
I don't know. I don't know if it's legend level devil or we need like something more visceral, I guess. More
Maybe, but if that would have happened, right? If it was as
cartoony.
cartoony,
It was
as
a cartoon.
Legend,
Come on, man. It was Tim Curry with big ass horns.
Yo, I'm not shitting on Tim Curry. Tim Curry is the best physical actor ever. I mean, he was it, Clue,
Yeah, he's done mad
Legend.
shit.
Like he's done
Yeah.
so much. But what's he-
sneeze. I need a cough button. One of those cough buttons. But go ahead,
but
Curry.
I don't think I want that in my horror film. Like,
No, but
it's
if-
not
It's just to
scary.
be. It's not that it's scary.
No.
It's just the imagery of something.
Oh.
It's like when we watched what was it, Insidious? I think 1, where they
Oh,
had the
and the-
bullshit
I
devil
hated
head
that.
in the
I
back.
hated that.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. But at least it gave an image of something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they ruined the movie for me. I love the movie. I still do. But that ruined the end. I was just
Because
like,
the
don't
way that-
do that.
The way that people kind of explain it off is that's a child's version of the boogeyman.
Which
so
is
the
true.
child's version of the boogeyman
See,
is not going to
what they
be.
should have done is kept what they were doing throughout the movie. He's more of a shadow character. Like the
Yeah.
creepiest scene
Was
that
in
I
the
thought
corner.
was
When
in the
he was
corner,
over.
and then
Nah, that
his,
was the best scene in the first one. Yeah.
Yeah, that sound.
and it's like his finger moving. I was like, that's all you needed. Like you could do a red face, whatever.
Come on, the tiptoe.
Nah, that's
No,
my
that's
second-
great. I'm
That's my
just-
second.
I love that.
That's the only other. Like, I would kick a kid in the face if you ever do that. I don't care. That song comes on and you dancing in my living room, you're getting drop kicked. That's that. Not happening. That shit still scares me to this day.
to this day.
That and you know that movie did another great thing where I'm talking about reversing what typical horror movies do. You had a ghost imagery during daylight.
Yeah.
like broad daylight,
Yeah,
and,
and the
you
fact-
walking
yeah.
outside, and then your fucking record player plays a 50s song that no one's ever really heard.
Yeah.
And you see a little ghost kid fucking jumping and dancing. Fuck that.
Yeah.
I would have
He's
burned the
doing
house down.
Irish jig.
Yeah.
Yeah, Irish jig is getting shut down, my guy.
That's why when we went to Comic-Con one year when Thomas was dressed up like Sam,
Yeah.
people loved it because he was much shorter at the time,
Hmm.
and the way his mask was, he would dance and his mask would stay, so his mask would stay straight and the rest of his body would be moving. Yo, it freaked out so many people. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Oh shit.
And then he did
Comic-Con.
this thing where he would move just his head, and the head would just move like this, and people were like,
What's going
just
on?
looking at him like that is so
I
weird. He
could give
loved
you a
it.
list of little kids that would get punted. It starts with the Pet Cemetery kid, by the way.
Oh,
Oh,
Gage.
yes.
The original, not the remake,
Yes,
you stupid
Ah.
millennials.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Yeah, the whole point is that the little kid was scary, not the sister that's retorted.
Even though Zelda was scary in the original though. She was the big
She
creep
was
factor
creepy,
for
but
me.
that little kid was just
Zelda was
yeah.
Zelda was the wife's sister that was like all
yeah. Oh
contorted.
my
and
god,
fucked
that
up.
gave me nightmares when I was a
Yeah,
kid.
Zelda was fucking
Zelda
crazy.
gave me nightmares.
And that little kid creeped me out too.
And you know what else gave me nightmares? When the scene when the guy with the brain was sticking out.
Yeah.
When the dad woke up and he was there in his face. You know how many nightmares I had about like not facing out
I love
from. I
that
faced
first
the
movie.
wall sleeping for years after that because I
That's how I
didn't.
sleep because of that movie.
I do not sleep. I mean now I don't care, but when I was a kid, I did not sleep outward.
See, this is where I
Between
wish I
that
had.
and what was it? Ernest Scared Stupid. Where the fucking
remember
when
that.
that big
I
ass
remember
trolls in the
that.
bed. Like I don't give a fuck with anybody. That was scary as fuck. That shit
Large
fucked me
Marge
up.
was scary.
Oh, large Marge.
Large
See,
Marge.
See, we
was
definitely got to do a
horrifying.
show where we just talk about a lot of these old things.
Yeah, like,
Large Marge, because
Yeah.
it was just the way that she said it. It was
Yeah,
just like,
and then
oh my
when
God.
they do the eyes bugging out, like
Yeah.
Tim Burton's great for
Yeah.
making
Yes.
Pee Wee Herman like that movie of Pee Wee
He
Herman
was
was the
able to-
best.
Yes.
Yeah,
What was that Big Top Pee Wee?
Yeah, no,
No.
that's
Pee-wee's
Biggest
Big Adventure.
Yeah,
There we go.
yeah, Big Top was the second one, which is
Yeah.
horrible.
Yeah.
And did you know? Yeah, that'll go into another thing. With
Yeah.
that.
We can go all day with random movie
Yeah,
shit.
so I hope you enjoy. We will have more of these
Random horror movie.
more horror movies,
All these
more movies in
C-list
general.
And if you
movies.
have any suggestions for us to watch, or
Yeah.
if you want us to review any movies
Yes.
that you
Like we-
happen to like that are maybe not so mainstream, we
Yes.
would love to.
I love
like we
making fun of
said,
shit.
we want to find a good horror movie. So throw it our way, and don't you also say what was that other witch one? The
The Witch.
No,
That was it. The Witches?
no, the one that we saw at your house when they fell off the brick.
I don't know
yeah.
nothing about that.
Damn, I can't even remember the name
Damn
of that
it.
movie. The one with the fucking flowers. That's all I remember.
Yeah. Oh, Midsummer. If
Midsommar.
you say that one too,
Oh God, I
don't
will
even
smack
comment.
the shit out of you.
Yeah.
You say Midsummer.
All right. Well, we're going to cut this off now. So I hope you enjoyed and see you soon, sucker.
All right.